Welcome back to the Major. We have just one day left in the group stage. Guess what? Nobody is confirmed for playoffs as of yet. We still have 16 teams in the running to go to Jönköping and play at DreamHack Winter, and only half of them will make it. We are starting to see the groups shape up quite significantly. We still have a few undefeated teams, but for other teams, they're going to have to be fighting tooth and nail for even the smidge of a chance to make it.
And this is going to be one of those series that could kickstart what we want to call the miracle run for some of these teams in the group. There are 3 teams currently tied in this group, all on 5 points, I believe it is, at the end of yesterday. And today is their final chance to qualify in for the playoffs.
I think it's pretty safe to say that this is the closest of all of the groups that we have right here. Taking a look now, Sonics started the Major with a loss to MNM. The very opening game was their first regulation loss and their only regulation loss. They've managed to come through pretty confidently. But since then, the rest of the team has shaken up. You can see each of Black Dragons, MNM, and CAG have one regulation win. It is CAG falling behind a little bit in terms of the wins, but they've made up for it in those overtime losses. They're not going down without a fight, even though a lot of people would probably say some of those overtime games CYCLOPS should have won. They were favored for, and yet they couldn't pull through when the pressure came to them.
Yeah, so when you look at these groups, like you said, keep in mind that the dividing factor between the tiebreaker is actually round difference. So even though CAG are at that equal points, they're going to have to make up for quite a lot of rounds to push them over into that playoffs contention, which is going to be very challenging in their 2 matches today.
This is exactly how I like the groups playing out. It feels like you're playing a bit of a game of rock, paper, scissors, because at the start, MNM beat Sonics, then Sonics goes and beats Black Dragons. Black Dragons get beaten by CYCLOPS, but then beat MNM, and then Sonics go and beat MNM, and it's just, it becomes hectic, and it means that these rematches get hella exciting, because often you think, if Team A beats Team B, on one day, they'll do it on the next day, not here at the Major, not when the competition is this close. It's all inter-regional matches as well, and I think a lot of people came into this group thinking it was going to be pretty cut and dried, but that has proven to be wrong.
No, absolutely not. This is the group that I'm the most excited for because any one of the 3 teams in that low to midfield could make the miracle run going into the playoffs. In all the other groups, there's sort of like one outlier team that definitely can't make the playoffs, but this is the one group that's like everyone is still in it. Everyone's going to go 100% focus concentration for every game to get every single rounds that they can because round difference is going to be that tiebreaker between all of them.
That's it. Well, let's start breaking down these teams. We've got CYCLOPS and MNM in their second last games of the group stage, and could well be for one of these teams the second last game of the entire Major if they are to be knocked out here in the group stage. CYCLOPS from Japan, from APAC North, Gatorada Anitson, Suzuki, Blackray, and Ayagata. These guys are the longest running 5-man roster in Rainbow Six right now at this level, and I'm pretty sure the longest running roster ever. They have been together for, checks notes, 2 years and 10 months without a single roster change.
I love the self-checks notes commentary going out there as well. Yeah, these guys have been together for a really long time, and what that means is that they've got this super cool synergy between them where they know exactly how each other plays out. They know the little ins and outs of their play style, and it allows them to pick these very operator picks, bring along these pocket strats that they just know so well because they know exactly what their teammate is going for, even though it might seem unconventional to the rest of us at home.
And you need to know your team so well when you have that caricatured, aggressive playstyle that CYCLOPS love. They thrive in the chaos, they live and breathe it, and they need to always be right at each other's hands and having each other's backs in order to enable that playstyle to work. MNM on the other side, this is a team that has been a rising star within Europe since they made it into the EUL, and they also haven't made a roster change in the last year. They have been sticking with these core 5 and improving event after event. My question, where are we going to go? Where is it going to be? Let's check out the map, Veto, and see what the battleground will be for CYCLOPS versus MNM. Okay, this is exciting, Mandy. We're actually rematching. We are going back to Chalet for that most infamous game between these 2 teams where CYCLOPS had that advantage, that significant, what was it, 5-1 lead, and MNM came back.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one. This is going to be great. MNM are the kings of Chalet. They are so good at it. The first match that we casted of the entire major was that MNM versus Sonic series, and MNM put a big showing against the Sonics. I think that was a pretty decisive win. That was like a 7-2, 7-3, I believe it was. And against CAG, like you said, it did end up being a very close affair, but MNM proved their dominance on this map. But Cyclops don't back down. What on earth? I'm just so excited for this one.
I'm really excited to see what MNM can do on Chalet once again, considering it is their best map. Like, they have never lost Chalet since they formed this roster.
Yeah.
MNM are undefeated, and even when it looks like they might fall to the sword of an up-and-comer like Cyclops, they come back. But Cyclops have shown they have some fire on this map, and people do say as well, when you rematch on the same map, often it favors the team who has lost previously and has that chance to go reiterate, look at their mistakes, and get back into the game with a fresh perspective and a better understanding of their opponent.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Cyclops are clearly going to repeat this map because they found something, right? You don't want to just go back to a map that you've lost off the back of nothing. They must have VOD reviewed it, looked at it, and said, all right, that was so winnable that we reckon we can do it again, even against MNM on one of their strongest maps, and that is Chalet. And I think that just oozes confidence from Cyclops to go for this rematch.
And Cyclops now have the confidence of a win under their belt with their regulation dub over Black Dragons. A huge win after BD have proved to be quite a thorn in their group side. In fact, taking down MNM just that same day. Honestly, it's really hard to call this game, Mandy. It's really hard to put one team in front of the other because while MNM have the head-to-head, Cyclops have the fire, they have that passion, they have a win under their belt, and they are gunning for revenge on Chalet. Here we are at the Major for the final day of the group stage, and we are getting into Cyclops versus MNM. I cannot wait to see which of these teams will keep their dream of Jönköping alive and which one may well go out in groups.
Now, I'm going to point back and keep in mind that the tiebreaker is the next, is going to be the difference for the tiebreaker, right? It's round difference. And for Cyclops, because they've had those 2 overtime losses, they need to claw back a lot of rounds as well as wins if they want to stay in contention for that playoff spot, right? They're down, I think it's a -5 or -6 at the moment in the standings, and so getting a win is mission critical against MNM.
Wow, we're already seeing the bans start to come through. It is the Monty and the Twitch ban. Now, funnily enough, Anaton was the highest rated player on Cyclops in the previous matchup that they played on this map, and he was a Monty main. So that is a really nice ban from MNM. They don't want to deal with that at all.
I was going to say, I think if you could pair Monty with any pro player in the entire world, it would probably be Anaton, maybe Pengu as with the other one. But you know what? He doesn't count. He's washed. He's retired. Who cares? It's Anaton now. He is the Monty drop shot king. I think there's this really famous clip of him on Oregon, or is it a coastline? I can't remember what it is. It's one of the older maps. And he goes around, he rounds the corner, he drop shots someone with the Monty shield. It's just like the most iconic thing ever. And so, you know what, MNM, fair enough, ban that one out.
I also really love this ban from Cyclops going onto the Twitch. Users mained Twitch in the last match that they played. He played really well. Now, I can't exactly remember its individual impact, but I can tell you for sure that Twitch is so good, not only for taking out a lot of default cams on a map like Chalet, you can get access to a lot of ground if you can early in the round take out those defaults, ones like Lobby and Solar. But furthermore, there's so many operators on the defense that get countered by that. Not at least the Twitch, the Echo, which is what Nello has jumped onto right now.
Yeah, this is a good one. I'm pretty excited for this first opening round because we've got that mirror and that we no longer have that Twitch interaction. But like you said, that mirror is going to be on the board, and CAG have to start dealing with the roam that's coming out on that ground floor. Neo's already got one that's he's put inside of the dining room, and the next one is going to go, I imagine, on the single wall here facing the breach.
Nice little setup. I always get scared when I see teams pick this bomb site. Historically, it hasn't had the highest success rate on the defense, and it relies on a successful roam. And there is one ingredient that Cyclops have in their arsenal that they didn't last time this match went down. Wow, nice impact trick. That's really cheeky from Nello. I wonder if he's able to get the second exothermic. Nah, couldn't quite able to, but still, that's a decent amount of hard breach denied. I was just quickly going to mention the Ying pick from CYCLOPS. That was banned by MNM last time, and now Anaton is going to pick it up.
Well, keep in mind, even though Ying has been picked, Users has also picked Warden, right? And so if they do go for that execute, it's going to be mission critical that Users is there to stop that onslaught from coming through.
Bit of a Dockerby Ying combo to put a little bit of pressure on MNM. But it's always hard to tell what CYCLOPS are going to actually do on the back of it. Tyrant exchanges fire with Ayagator, who starts to fall back at CAG. Getting pretty decent map control here on the top floor. But there's still quite a few MNM roamers just hanging around on the ground floor. A lot of good map control still for MNM as this tug of war begins.
CAG is starting their roam clear from this south side of the building because that is the real estate that's been given to them. The rest of MNM are simply playing in that dining, in that solar-sided area of the map. And now we can see Black Ray, he's on that sledge, and he can start opening up that vertical and flushing out the mirror that was inside of dining. I think that's going to force Users off his position. I imagine he's fallen off that mirror now and is playing further back inside of West Main.
Slow and steady for CYCLOPS. MNM is still not forfeiting all of this ground, all of this roam. Still have quite a bit of map control. Tyrant shooting another drone and then falling back down blue. But MNM, they're not really under that much pressure right now, to be honest. CAG haven't really shown where they're going to execute as of yet.
Well, CAG is just starting to work through this mid-round, and Neo I can see as a C4 prepped as Black Ray is working that vertical above inside of lobby. They still haven't cleared out Users, who is inside of that dining and could use this mirror lethally if he wants to clear out any positions inside of lobby.
It's a big player. Black Ray might see him. Oh no, he doesn't quite. The drone would have spotted him out. Users is not in a position to deny the Ying Candelas as the Warden Anaton, in fact, finds the opener and CYCLOPS begin their execute. 20 seconds left and ticking away. Users finds one. He can drop down the hatch, surely, but Suzu is forcing that diffuser down with Anaton to cover. What a flick there from Annie. He finds his second on the round as MNM must retake. They go blow for blow, and Users gets aggressive with a C4. Solotov to peek outside the main breach, but CYCLOPS have taken up favorable post-plant positions. It will be now on Users to try and stick this. He fakes it, and well, that's all she wrote. CAG kick it off with a strong attack onto the basement.
Yeah, it looked a little bit scary for CAG through that mid-round. Like you said and pointed out, that mirror was open and Black Ray almost fell short to Users that was trying to retake into that dining position. Thankfully, CAG were able to convert that ground floor control that they had into that bottom main stairs push, eventually get that plan off in a really off spot in tandem with that Ying. And really the Warden just wasn't there to stop it in time, and they're able to clean up the round in the post-plan.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Well, MNM won't dwell too much on the errors of the past. They will continue to switch it up here and go bar on the next round. Looks like CYCLOPS also switching it up. 5 operators repicked and not crutching on that Ying. That's what I really like to see from CYCLOPS. They are a team that, while they are great at having these pocket picks like Monty we saw in the previous game and the Ying here in that previous round, when you crutch on a specific operator, it can be counted, it can be picked up on, and MNM are a team that I think have quite good adaptability, so I'm keen to see CYCLOPS continue switching this up.
Once again, CYCLOPS in true CYCLOPS fashion, like you mentioned, are going to bring out something new. Now, I can only imagine we'll see that Capital be used in a more direct attack to clear out this corner library position. That's where Nello is currently putting down his ADS. But of course, ADSs from Jaeger don't actually catch Capital bolts. It's only Wamais that do that. And so if Anaton can get one of those fire bolts into that sneaky position, a direct attack for CAG might be the way to go. Anaton as well, now just opening up this window like we mentioned, starting to get that line of sight into that corner library position. That's Users on the other side. Now, last time we saw Users in this position, he had this really nice C4 lineup onto the balcony that ended up taking down all these players. Here it is right now. He brings it out, and it actually doesn't connect onto the player on the rappel. He goes for the aggressive peek anyway, and is flushed out. That for Capital Fire as well doesn't even connect, and so Users is still safe in his position.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's a huge play from Users. Even though the C4 didn't work, he finds a kill and gets back into position without being traded. CYCLOPS can be really upset about that one. And Gatorada trying to flush out the position using the Flores, but that's also ineffectual for now. Flashes to go through. Users fully blind, but they're not committing to it as Tyrant plays aggressively from the mirror. CYCLOPS, what is going on?
Another Flores drone to go through, but that one was once again too shallow to clear out the position that Users is in, and he's still holding on. Meanwhile, though, we do have a lurk going on from Blackray, just making his way in through the jungle, and in fact, there's only one player on the site. If CAG identify this and they want to pivot to a hop in through that double window, they could probably make it work.
Yeah, CYCLOPS are in fact pivoting at the moment. As you can see, most of their players moving away from Library, but MNM still have quite a bit of control on the top floor. We had Neo over in office as he resides at the moment. Good ability to control some of that ground floor. Blackray, though, made his way into jungle, as you mentioned before. And Aegator has actually jumped all the way into this window above Snowmobile, but he doesn't have control above. And, well, CAG, the cost of that Library push was dear, and the cost of the rotate was far too great. MNM reply with a round of their own.
Yeah, not so great from CAG. The utility game didn't really work in that corner. Library Users, he held onto his ground, and by the time that CAG decided to change their minds and pivot for a lobby-sided take, try and hop in through that window below the fireplace stairs, just try something new, it was just far too late. All of MNM had their number. They were able to hold on to their positions in that top floor and shut down the final push.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
I got a feeling, Manny, this is going to be a pretty tight game. Both teams have a lot at stake here with the group being tied up so strongly. And in fact, there is a possibility that CYCLOPS could be eliminated from playoffs contention if this game does not go their way. If CYCLOPS cop a regulation loss, then, well, their fate is outside of their hands. There is a full chance that, that they will be completely eliminated if that happens.
One more important note that we have sponsored by Spraboody and Wrath is that if CYCLOPS, if MNM win this game 7-3 or better, they will qualify for SI, right?
It's huge.
That's huge. That is absolutely massive from them, and so there's huge stakes going into this game as well. They can 100% qualify themselves in. Here we go as well. The defense, just to break it down really quickly, MNM, they're going over to this kitchen bomb site. They're playing a castle setup upstairs, which is blocking off any of the lines of sight from the window repels, as well as doing this extension over on the library side. We can see being contested by Aegator immediately.
I love the fact that MNM is sticking this Warden every single round as well. It hasn't really played much into effect yet, but it's nice to have that tool in your arsenal and rotate him over to where that potential Ying push is threatened late in the round. Current on this roam at the moment as CYCLOPS paying their attention first at a library and bar, of course. But unclear as of yet whether this is a hard roam clear. Only 2 players over there at the moment. The rest of CAG shaping up around the balcony. And Blackray down here peeking into the car garage. Looks like perhaps CYCLOPS are rotating to go and clear downstairs. I always wonder, Mandy, like, it's an interesting game, isn't it? Do you go and try and hard clear areas where there are players, or do you try and figure out where there aren't any and then take the free map control?
Well, I think Chalet, in general, leans into more of the latter. It's one of those maps where you just want to get the free real estate you can. The map is not that big. It really is not that big, and so if you want the map control that you can take, you may as well go for it. And I think that's why we can see CAG now, they've actually pivoted off this library control and they decided to go for this solo side take instead, because they were contested early out on that entry. Another reason we can see is that lurk that comes from the ground floor. Hang on a moment, I need to stop talking. Molotov was in the middle of an engagement from Aegator just outside of this bathroom window, but we can see CAG are being really cautious about entering into the building.
Solotov has been really good at this event so far. He's got the down on Aegator. I think he knows about it. Doesn't want to commit to a jump out. Unfortunately for MNM though, CYCLOPS has found a kill of their own. The Candelas to threaten a push here. Gatorada gets flashed, but Suzu's pushing on in. Solotov does end up taking down Blackray, but he is traded back again. And the pickup will come through, so Aegator's actually going to survive here. Mandy, with Solotov going down, that's a huge pick. Do you remember in the first game with Sonics, he went 10-0, 10 kills before he was even killed a single time?
Yeah, Solotov is one of those big impact players, like you said, and now MNM as well are down in the man advantage. But there's only 30 seconds left to go. It's not looking super good for CAG with the control they have. Site control is well and truly in MNM's favor, and that is made even better with users taking down someone with the smoke.
But he has been traded back, and this seems like it may turn on the flip of the hat. It's all up to Nello now, the clutch god himself. But Suzo will force that diffuser down. Nello got the 1.5. It's a great gun for the situation, but he's not able to cross because Aegator is there to lap him up. And CAG once again take the lead.
Well played from CAG in that attack. They were being really cautious about the entry. Now, that discussion that you had about how do you approach Chalet? Do you take the free real estate that you're given, or do you just try and face the entries head on? CAG did the latter, right? They did the former. They went for what real estate do we have? And that's why we saw them being very cautious, trying to jump in through the library. They saw that they were being contested early on, and AG said, just chill, guys. I'm going to go rotate over to bathroom. Let's put pressure somewhere else and try and catch them off. And we saw that as soon as CAG were able to find that off pick from a window or from the weird entries that they were able to get through, they all started collapsing in on the site. I think that's really a great approach to Chalet.
Yeah, and it's also great to see that CAG aren't one-tricking. They weren't relying on that Monty to get so many rounds in the previous matchup. They are also showing that they have quite a strong Monty-less Chalet. But of course, MNM here are the Chalet Kings. They are so good at this map, and you can't really ever count them out. Keep in mind that the previous time these teams played, CYCLOPS went 5 out of their 6 attack rounds won, right? And yet, when we moved into the second half, MNM won all 6 of theirs.
Spooky stuff. Spooky, spooky stuff. You go say you can't call it until the half flips, right? Suzu now making his way onto this snowmobile breach. Just getting it off on the right side. He's not going to fall to that same mistake looking for the impact trick that Nello was going for last time. The rest of CAG, the diffuser, is in the big garage side of the map, so I can only imagine that CAG will start to pivot some of those resources over onto that north side, clearing out Trophy and eventually getting into big garage.
Small correction to what I said before. It was actually a 5-1 half for CYCLOPS that was replied with a 5-1 half from MNM, which went overtime, and then MNM won 1 attack, 1 defense. So
Spooky stuff.
Similar stuff, but essentially what I'm saying is MNM, yeah, they're really good at attack. So even 2 rounds here on their defensive side could well be enough to put away CYCLOPS in regulation.
And here we go. The clear of CAG does start on this north side of the building. We've already got Aegator here inside of Piano. He's just hopped in through the window. Meanwhile, some cutoffs as well from that double window. He's realized he's got to fall off, and Solotov,
oh no, Aegator
is about to feel the wrath of Aegator jumping off the balcony and taking down Solotov.
Yeah, but not before Solotov was able to find a pick, so that's a really unfortunate happenstance for CAG. Could have saved his teammate Aegator. MNM feeling a bit of pressure with the Dockerby call ringing it out and falling back to site for Usus. Again, I will reiterate, Solotov, huge player to take down. But funnily enough, it has been Usus who's top fragging the server as it stands.
I think this is good timing for MNM to start falling back as well. They've burned essentially like a minute and a half, right? There's only a minute and 12 seconds left for CAG to pivot this control now down to the trench part of their push. They still need to get open this line of sight that's going to cut away connector as that wall is still closed. They also still need to open up an entry hole inside of that elbow position, and it's going to be very hard to do when Usus is contesting you like this.
Oh, Usus, he's really feeling a lot of pressure now as the wall opens up. Falls back, Gatorada to formulate that breach. But it seems to be mostly just a single-faceted push from CAG. I don't believe they have a... Okay, sorry, actually, I'll correct that. They do have a breach on Snowmobile as well. But there's no one playing there. So this is still quite a one-sided push.
Just want to point out the Flores is being very impactful at the moment into this late round, taking down not only the Melusi Banshee, but the shield to follow up with it. But there's only 26 seconds, Dev, and CAG have got to go for something here.
Neo and Usus holding these strong positions on site. They will be the impact players, but also Nello above. He's not able to confirm the kill. Oh, he does! And in fact, MNM lap them all up. It's all on Aegator now. He's found 1, but he's going to have to find 2 more. And every one of those MNM players found their man. Surely not Aegator! He's got to get the ace! Oh my god!
It doesn't matter. Well fucking played.
A hair's breadth away from the ace, and 1v3 clutch was Aegator, but MNM, thank their lucky stars.
my god. Every round's going to be like that. We are definitely aging a couple tens of years.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. All right, MNM. Okay, don't give us a scare like that. They had the grip on the site right at the end there. CAG, they did all the right steps to make that push work, but then when the push came to shove, the gunfights worked out in the way of MNM. It was Neo, the one in that power position behind the pillar, that was able to take the 2-on-1 gunfight. Once that execute came through, that in tandem with Nello as well, winning out his flank and the ground floor, ended up working out for MNM, and they take out that round.
Attackers have discovered the location of a
Come
bomb.
on, Andy. This is proven to be a bit of a banger. Not that we expected anything less. These teams gave us a real show in the previous matchup. This time around, though, MNM are getting more defenses than we saw from them
10
previously.
seconds left.
Pressure is on for Cyclops to nail through as many attacks as possible. Really, a 4-2 half is still not enough to guarantee a regulation win or even overtime in my mind. MNM are really good at attacking this map. They are the kings of Chalet, and they're already doing better than their last innings against Cyclops here.
All right, so fun fact, sponsored by Sprebrian Wrath 2.0, CAG will be eliminated if they lose in regulation, unless Sonics win in regulation 7-1 or something like that, which is ridiculous. And CAG win 5 rounds. This is very, very specific.
There are some ways
This is very specific.
there are some ways that Cyclops can get eliminated in regulation, and there are some ways that Cyclops can get eliminated in overtime, or one way. But at the end of the day, what really matters for CAG is if they want the best chance of making playoffs, they got to win this, they got to win it in regulation. An overtime win makes it possible, but anything else is just, the matter is out of their hands.
MNM looking for this extended roam on the Solar side. That's Neo, the one playing just above inside of Solar, while the rest of CAG start to formulate their attack around the map. It seems like this Office and Solar side is actually going to be their point of contest too. They're not going to toy around with the corner library like they have previously and failed, I believe it was both times, and so they're trying something different, and it seems to be pretty successful so far. Aegator with the first pick of the rounds.
Yeah, that's a big one, but traded back immediately. Aegator has been the brightest star for Cyclops, and with him going down, that is a real big blow to their push. Also the Finker and all of her heals. CAG, though, have taken some good map control on the ground floor, but still worried about Neo, who resides above. Already found a single pick, but Gatorada is on for this lurk.
Gatorada looking for this roam clear on this piano side of the map. It's Tyrant and I believe Neo on the other side of this to face his Wrath. A couple flashbangs to come through, but no one to be met on the other side.
He's really revealed his position now, hasn't he? And he's solo entering here with no drone ahead of him. Tyrant, he's playing a dangerous game here. Right up next to the balcony window. He may well have been spotted. Black Ray could swing him. But he's got to land this kill. Tyrant actually falls back at the worst possible time. And CAG can regain that man advantage.
Not only that, but it's actually forfeited off that mezzanine position too. The rest of MNM have decided to completely fall off that top floor. There is only 35 seconds in fact, so probably the right call in the macro game sense. CAG have to press the attack.
There is still one in library, right? Oh no, he did fall off. Oh my god, I got a bit scared there. CAG must have drawn that out. Thing is, look at this mirror from users. Time is ticking away though. Here we go, 4v2, CAG. They can't afford to make any mistakes now. Black Ray's in the site, going for the flash. Neo from below could be the difference maker. User's being abused on site and he cannot survive. It's 2 pistol kills to close out the round. And CAG once again take the lead.
Yeah, it was pistols galore there, and the execute, you got to go fast, you know? There's only 20 seconds left, and they had to press the attack. CAG, I like that they changed their approach that round. They realized that doing this silly little library micro game it ain't it. Users is too good in the corner of library with this silly C4 lineup. Let's just go and roam clear across the map instead. And being able to catch out some of those roamers falling off, notably Black Ray on that double window. He found that pick onto the mezzanine position, and as soon as that pick came through, they had to forfeit that top floor control, go back down to the site and try and play out the time with only 30 seconds left. And CAG, yeah, change of philosophy definitely works out for them.
It's worked out for them, but I still feel, Mandy, like CAG realistically need the 4-2 here. It's not like, oh yeah, 4-2, they're winning. It's 4-2, they've done the bare minimum because MNM have such good attacks. The CAG need to show that they can do that as well. Now we are actually seeing for this final round of attack a shield from Anaton. It's not the Monty, that's been banned, but it is the Ossa. And for, I believe we're going to Dining, for this Dining attack, I wonder what the plan is. Is this a lobby push, playing behind the Ossa shields to take fights on site?
I just want to point out as well on the note of that Ossa that in fact Nello has brought the deployable shield and alibi. He doesn't have any impacts, and there's also no C4s in the entire lineup.
No explosives at all.
There's no C4s in the lineup because Warden on Solotov also doesn't have explosives. So dealing with those Ossa shields is going to be quite challenging in the late round.
It's a really dangerous game for MNM. CAG could not have asked for a better lineup to play against. But what are they going to go for? They've got that Thermite, which makes me think it is going to be a Fireplace push. At the moment, just taking control of the lobby, and Suzu's droned it all. He knows it's fully free. I mean, MNM, you can have a beautiful setup, but if you don't have anyone here shooting drones, then Cyclops will just take it for free.
Yeah, this is really conservative from MNM. They've got this full bunker set up with 3 shields playing upstairs and piano inside a closet, yada-yada. But what that is doing is that's giving Cyclops so much free real estate. And like you pointed out really early in the round, it's probably going to be a minimalist take from CAG. That is what this Ossa entails them to do. And already they're starting to get this control on this games and bar side of the map.
One thing we haven't seen much from Cyclops is fast pushes. They've usually been quite slow this game, and then explosive executes in the late round. But if they keep up this pace and get this main breach open with a minute and a half, a minute to go, they could really work something, bait a couple picks.
Now we can see it's Suzu. He's the one with those exothermic charges and is going to be able to put them on this wall. No wall denial and no way to impact trick the wall either. We can see the top of that reinforcement still closed off. And that breach should go on fairly easily. Really, CAG have everything they need to win this round. They just need to take their time and be careful about it.
Going for the full breach on both walls. The thing that's a bit scary here is he's actually opened up the wall from the hallway as well, which could be great unless if a player comes through a flank up from blue. So CAG really have to make sure that they're covering all of their bases and not vulnerable to flanks.
Well, we can see it's actually Gator currently, that one on the flank watch. He's on his drones. I'm not sure if we can get a view of that. There we go. That's the one in the basement just down there. So there can be no flank from the basement. CAG have thought of everything.
So what is the play then from MNM? Because CAG have just waltzed into sight. There's no explosives. Anaton is taking damage to that gas, however, and Nello gets aggressive. The smokes actually cover his position. And now CAG have to be really careful. They have to flush him out. They can't assume that under the cover of smoke, someone hasn't tried to make a play.
Oh no, I think they might have left it a little bit too late. But Gator's coming up from behind the hatch. He might be able to backstab Nello.
Oh, but Nello's just dancing around out of sight. Gator, I think, knows it. He's pinged it. And now Cyclops should be able to take him down. But on the long line of sight, it's Neo and Solotov. Gator coming up from the basement. Suzu from behind from the trophy window. And here comes Gator in sight. Tyrant. He's denied that diffuser, and now it's all up to CAG. Gator forcing it down into the smoke. And Suzu has to cover here as the retake comes on through. Tyrant goes down. It's all up to Neo now. In the 1 versus 2, dropping down the kitchen hatch. He's got 2 Japanese gunners to take down and a diffuser to tend to in the next 30 seconds. As Cyclops retreat, they take up post-plant positions. They've got the advantage. What is Neo going to be able to pull off? Biding his time, playing around the reinforced wall. He starts to stick it. Gator starts to push forward. It's a bait, but it's not going to work out for MNM. Cyclops, they managed to win the half, 4-2.
That was a bit scary from Cyclops. They had everything that they needed to win that round, but it got a bit scary once that plant denial came through. It was the smoke that stalled them out with only 27 seconds left to go or something ridiculous like that. And I thought, oh no, Cyclops, you had everything going for you. And they almost choke it out. Thankfully, they're able to make it work. I think it was a tandem of that push up from Westmain from Gator and one of his teammates jumping in through the trophy window to go for that backstab as the redundancy in that plan, just in case that front take didn't work, because it almost didn't.
Well, that's the thing for Cyclops, like, if plan A doesn't work, let's just jump in a random window and kill everyone.
Exactly right. That's such the Cyclops way, and it's really great that they were able to do that. They didn't hinge everything on just that Osa play working out. Going for that backstab in the back of the site was really what rattled the defense of MNM, and even though it came down to a 2 versus 1, in the end it was pretty decisive for CAG.
I gotta say, if I had a bingo card for this major, something I would love to have on it is team that tries to execute with smokes actually gets pushed through the smoke. Because I swear, the number of times you see attackers put their smokes down and defenders take advantage of the block lines of sight to retake map control, oh, it's scary. And the fact that Nello didn't have a bigger impact there genuinely surprises me.
Nello was in a bit of a tight spot, but here
He
we
was.
go. We're actually going to go back down to the same bomb site, but with a different team defending it. It's CAG that's going to take us over to that kitchen bomb site instead. And how are MNM going to approach this? Are they going to also go for this lobby-sided take, or is it going to be solo? It seems like lobby-sided is the way they're going to go, already making an entry point down here in the garage.
Users has been quite the force of power in the first half on his defense. And now he's on the lurk with the Nook, no less. There's quite a bit of mobility on the defense as well. Anderton running amok with that Warden 1.5. Still a lot of map control held upstairs, but here comes Aegator. He might actually find Usus, I think. Oh no, it's in fact Solotov who's taken him down.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a really quick entry from MNM. Both Solotov and Usus were able to get their way into the building with a whole 2 minutes to spare. Already so much control of the ground floor for MNM. That top floor, like you mentioned, is still being held onto CAG, but they're starting to fall off from these positions now as well. A lot of control now given to MNM.
MNM are so good at attacking this map. It is their highest win percentage on attack or defense on any map, 68%.
Oh, look at that. So CAG are considering perhaps retaking through that basement. So they've just used that yokai drone to see if they can spot out where the flank drones of MNM are. Now, I think that's Tyrant, I believe, who's sitting on the flank drones. So Red Like, our lovely observer, could we steal him? There we go. So that's the flank drone that's currently sitting in the basement, preventing the 2 CAG players from flanking. And what they're doing is they were using those yokai drones to check if there was a flank drone inside of Wine Cellar before they decided to go for the push.
CAG just assessing their options. Not making a move too early, not going to give MNM another pick. As the breach has been made on this main dining wall, Nello actually falls back with the diffuser rotating towards the trophy window. Makes me wonder what the play is here for MNM. Is this main breach just a bait?
I have to wonder as well, where are the rest of the MNM players so far? Surrounding the site seems pretty empty. Oh, hang on, is that Solotov making his way in through the top floor? Already making his entry through.
Oh no!
He's going to take the engagement onto Gatorada, taking him down very low, but not being able to finish off the kill.
Both of them so low on HP. And MNM are running low on time here. Uses to march through as well. Gatorada. Oh, he's going to try and trade his teammate, but Nello's done the damage that MNM have been searching for. It's now up to Anderton and Suzu. Anderton caught in such a precarious position, and it's all on Suzu. A 1v4 is not going to happen. An explosive round from MNM. It turns out Dining was a bait after all. They full sent it Cyclops style.
That was really awesome from MNM. I love the way that they assess their options through that mid-round dev. Once you get to that position where you've got both the top floor breach open and the ground floor breach open that goes into the site, you have 2 choices. You either go, okay, let's just send it in with the control that we have, use that breach to just cover the vertical, whatever, that type of thing, or you say, let's be ambitious and send it in through the top floor, actually get all the way to Solar, and then that way that push becomes too pinched because you have the breach open and you also have Solar Stairs control, right? MNM realized after droning through that top floor that they were given all that respect and control from CAG because CAG spent all their time loitering around in the basement, right? And that was some great read from MNM and great calls from Nello. Like you said, you pointed out him rotating over to that trophy window to help out his teammates and make that push work with a step ahead.
One step closer to tying up the scoreline for MNM. But like we've said before, we've seen 5-1 halves from them on this map. And like I was saying before, 68% attack win rate on Chalet. That is insane. Like, Cyclops don't have an attack or defense win rate that high on any map. Few teams would. Nearly 70% of rounds won. They really know the intricacies of this map, and it doesn't mean playing methodical, playing the same way every single time. It comes to those adaptations like you called out.
They're smart. MNM are super smart about the way they use the architecture of this map. And I think this is going to be quite a challenge for them though, because we have seen a castle setup come out from CAG. It's one that's blocking off that library box as well as the both double windows, one inside of bar and another one inside of the library as well. So getting through all of this utility on that library side of the map is going to be quite challenging for MNM. I wonder how they're going to approach it.
And MNM haven't seemed to struggle as of yet for the lack of the Twitch, which CYCLOPS banned, and it was a fantastic performance from, let me double check which player that was. It was Usis actually who played the Twitch a lot last game. He's had a phenomenal match so far. He's on the vert operator this time with Bach. Solotov's also enabled to play that knock, which was banned out last time by MNM.
Black Ray seems to have some kind of awareness that Solotov is down here in the basement. Oh, he even takes the big wide swing onto it as well. Backs off. Both them training a little bit of damage. But what are MNM trying to do here? They're just trying to probe through the map and see what they can find. We see a couple players over on that library side of the building. I think Clone has just gone through and drone out library as well. Lots of things happening for MNM. Lots of small bits of progress, but no kills have amounted of it just yet.
Here comes a nade from Tyrant, but Saniton just peeks him. Oh, but a second nade now from Neo. He was not able to survive. A good quick trade from MNM.
Yep, when you're stuck between two sets of grenades, what do? You're warded. You just run around and eventually you're going to be taken down. Now they've got this mezzanine control, and because that library box has been segmented off with that castle barricade, they probably have no idea that a Gatarada is just sitting inside waiting for them to cross his line of sight. There we go, he does, and Nello falls short to that rotate inside of library.
It's back and forth now. Neo's taken that control upstairs. Black Ray falls back. 3v3, 45 seconds to go, and that buck is still up. So there's actually a lot of time. Wow, are you kidding me? There's 3 CYCLOPS players within high-fiving distance in the site, and well, one of them tries to get away and actually gets taken down. So that sends a message to the 2 remaining CAG players that they do not have a lot of mobility here. Black Ray though, oh, he actually contests and does find that long line of sight up through the dining hallway. Up to Usis and Neo now to even this up, but Black Ray is not done yet. All on Neo in the 1v2, and CAG are going to have to dodge this nade. Nice attempt, but Alligator is there to support with the CYCLOPS skin. And of course, that leads him to the victory. It's a 5-3 lead now for CYCLOPS, just 1 round away from getting another point on the board.
Scary stuff for MNM. I think that as that mid-round went on, they got a little bit ahead of themselves, jumping in through library. Even though they found that pick with the grenade, they hadn't actually drawn out Gatarada, who was still sitting inside of that library box, being covered by his castle barricade and a rotate. There was also still a player on the top of library stairs that they were going into contest as well. And it just felt like MNM jumped in a little bit too early, got a little bit too excited off the back of that pick that they had. And eventually CAG were able to claw back the trades and the zones of the map that they had. And yeah, I think MNM ran out of time for the execute right at the end there.
Speaking of time, it's CYCLOPS who have actually elected to take a moment to discuss this final, potentially penultimate round. It's their tactical timeout right now. What will they be saying right now? They've also, of course, given MNM a chance to discuss. But to be fair, CYCLOPS only barely won that last round. It looked very sketchy, and now that Bar Games is locked, they have to decide, do they go back, retry Kitchen Dining, or do they try something completely different?
And it seems like try something completely different is going to be the way to go for CAG. I expect nothing less on this roster. They're also deciding to bring along the mirror for this setup, pretty similar to what MNM were doing. I wonder where Alligator is going to put his. MNM, they put theirs inside of the dining room and inside of this single wall as well, and I can only imagine that a CAG may employ a pretty similar strategy to aid the roam in the ground floor.
One operator I'm really excited to see is the Pulse. I really want to know what the play is. I really want to know if we can see any vertical C4s, because we do have 3 of them. Actually seeing quite a bit of hard breach from MNM brought out. We've got the Thatcher to support the Thermite and the Ace. Buck for some vertical game. And of course Tyrant to do what Tyrant does on the old Lurkerino. But I will be very surprised if CYCLOPS don't have a pretty sophisticated roam here.
Yeah, even though they have a sophisticated roam, the lineup from MNM would indicate to me that they were going for something a little bit more minimalist. They are bringing along that double hard breach, so if they just want to get control of the main breach and then get control of Garage, opening everything up with the Selmas, they can. They really don't need to take this top floor if they don't want to.
CYCLOPS win this round. They will go into a playoffs position. They won't lock themselves into it, but as there is currently a 3-way tie on points between MNM, Black Dragons, and CYCLOPS, with CYCLOPS being the bottom of it, they get 1 point from this game and they will go up into that 2nd place. A regulation win would be huge and really put MNM on the back foot. Their chances would suffer, but Tyrant says, stop talking about it, Dev. I've got work to do. He's found one. He's found a double. This is a huge round for MNM.
Oh, he could have been on for the third, but just on ADSs at an unfortunate time, Anderton is able to trade one back at least for CAG. MNM now in the man advantage, and like we commented on, they are looking for this big garage tape. But hang on a second, this is Gator getting aggressive in the big garage.
Oh my god!
Off guard, and he in fact does, evening up the man count and taking down Neo.
What a game from Gator as well. He's on 12 kills at the moment, 3.0 KD on this mirror of all operators. He's been a driving force for Cyclops in this game. The playmaking just doesn't stop.
Solotov, though, is looking to try and chase him down, coming down these west main stairs now. I believe Gator has fallen back off to his teammates over back on the site, and indeed he has. Still, only a minute left to go. That's plenty of time for MNM if they want to make something work. They do have that redundancy in hard breach. That's Nello with those two exothermic challenges, and he's got to choose what he wants to get open first. That's the first breach now, going onto this big line of sight that's going to cut the site in half.
Gator, C4 in hand, ready to deal some damage to make a statement here and put CAG on overtime. But Solotov, he's so keen, so aware. He watches it, and look at this, pushing on deep from Nello. He's all the way in blue, but he's been taken down. Not without damage, though, from MNM, as Users is deep in the site and looking for another one. Anderton, triple kill, traded all up to Suzu. Up on the hatch. Solotov's got no clue, and he forces down that diffuser. Suzu hears the telltale sound of the case open, and as he sprints up, it's going to have to be a post plan. Is Solotov going to live up to the name? He absolutely won't. Suzu C to clutch the 1v1 for CAG, and they will go to match point.
IGL coming up big for CAG right there in that final 1 versus 1. For Solotov, that position that he tried to go for the plant, they happen to have info on. He hadn't shot out the default cam, I believe it was, in the site. And so they had that yellow ping there, and it allowed Suzu to make the call. All right, he's definitely sticking that plant. It's time to go. So well played there from CAG, keeping their composure, even though MNM went for that rush execute onto the back.
My God. This is quite a lead now for CAG. They'll be feeling confident. They've taken their tactical timeout already. MNM electing not to take theirs. They just want to get back into it. They don't want to give Cyclops the chance to think about these defenses because, Mandy, let's be honest, it is defense that's been so difficult for both of these teams on Chalet. MNM was able to find 2 of their own. But now that Cyclops have done the same, they found this match point. I think taking that tactical pause was an excellent idea. They've had extra time to think about the strat, the play style that MNM's been playing into. However, now Cyclops do have to go back to a bomb site they've already lost in kitchen dining, and MNM will be ready for it.
I think for MNM, I imagine they're still keeping their composure in the game. Those last 2 rounds in particular, I feel like could have gone either way, especially that last round. It just felt like one of those games of Siege where sometimes the one-on-ones don't quite go your way. Sometimes the trades don't go your way. It happens, right? When you're going for that big, fast-paced push, you just get in a bit of a tussle there. And I think MNM are not going to be too rattled over it. Now we can see something pretty unique, though. Nello's actually bringing along the Amaru. And what that means is there's no more hard breach in this lineup. It's going to be a rush.
We've got the Amaru in through the solar window, and Tyrant has made his way in through bathroom alongside the sledge. And that's good top floor control very early, but Cyclops, will they contest this or will they forfeit it?
It actually seems like they are just holding on to the top floor control, and Cyclops aren't even going to think about contesting them because they have the info of Anderton down below. They're going to use it to try and leverage this 1 C4 they have in their pocket, try and fight off these vertical angles and try and sit in some blind spots, I suppose, from the vertical. They don't want to fall short to Solotov here.
Well, Anderton, he's going to go for the C4 play, but the timing could not be better. Solotov walks straight back onto it. The buck has been gone down, but not before he was able to open up a lot of the floor. Nello's got information as well. Could enable a floor bang from Users. He wants to go for that pre-fire, but Blackray wins it, traded back immediately. But Cyclops retain that man advantage. Nello's going for broke into the site on the back of the information from that drone.
Nello is in a very cheeky position, but it's actually Gator on the other side with that Oryx that could climb up the hatch and backstab him if Nello's not careful. Gator, what's...
Oh, no!
It's Gatorado instead on the site himself, traded back by Usus. Now, a minute 20 seconds left and still a 3-on-2. Plenty of time for either team.
Usus reveals his position shooting the Prisma. Tyrant, where is he? He's upstairs. He's got to have an impact here. Diffuser in pocket for Usus. And CAG just waiting patiently, and he's got info. Not much, but he knows where players aren't. And he's got that pulse. Tyrant starts to move his way forward. Ayagator still waiting near that hatch as Anderson can play this perfectly. Ayagator goes up the hatch, not hurt as of yet, but Tyrant rotates back upstairs to double bluff on Suzu. Cyclops are so close to this regulation win, and they get it! MNM cannot stand up to the Japanese as CAG find revenge. A dish best served on the snowy plains of Chalet. A huge 3-point win, putting them in second place in their group.
That was such a mission-critical win for CAG to stay in this group. Once again, reiterating, CAG, MNM, both tied on points currently inside of this group. That was so critical for them to win, especially off the back of 2 overtime losses earlier yesterday.
APAC fans and Japanese fans and Cyclops fans rejoice, but for MNM, there's a lot of work to be done if they are to make their first playoffs. We'll be back after a short break.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
What a match that was. That was a real treat. On the rematch, it was revenge for Cyclops. Everyone criticized them. Did you see the choking meme as well?
Yes.
I saw the choking meme.
G2 snuck into that choking meme somehow.
I know. They managed to get on the collar on the dog tag, but CAG, they're known for it. They're known for playing so well and then letting it slip right through their fingers. MNM also, can I just say, they have copped their first L on Chalet in, I believe, ever with this roster.
That's crazy.
I was talking to Cal the other day, and he was saying it was like 15-0 for them, which is why it was such a big deal that they managed to come back and retain that streak against Cyclops. I think they took that personally.
Yes, they absolutely is. Cyclops, they went for that revenge tour back on Chalet. That is a move of confidence. That really is. You don't just go back to a map that you lost like a day before. That is crazy from Cyclops. But they made it work. Clearly, they'd VOD reviewed MNM. I want to point to that round where Cyclops decided to bring out the, it was the Ossa play, and MNM didn't have any impacts in their lineup, even though they had 3 operators that might have been able to do it. I think that just goes to show how deep the Cyclops prep went to go into that rematch, and it definitely paid off.
And what's more, you know, Monty was banned out. Anderton really leaned into that in the previous time that they played. This time Monty banned out. They play the Ying, they play the Ossa. Even on defense as well, the turning point for this game for me was when Cyclops won one defense round really, really close. Like, it was very, very fortunate for them. It was a very tight one. And then immediately after, they're not on match point yet. They take a tactical timeout. They take the extra time to discuss how they're going to play out this defense, and they win 2 rounds in a row. They bring that pulse, and oh man, it was so tight.
Yeah, I feel like even though the scoreline was pretty dominant in the end to CAG, I don't think that reflected just how close some of these rounds were. A lot of these rounds did come down to a 2-on-2 or a 1-on-2. I'm thinking back to that round where Solotov was in the 1 versus 1 with Suzu, and Suzu won it off the back of some info. It was actually this round here that Gator went for that aggressive peek, and then they tried to go for this site rush that came out. It was exactly this one, Suzu getting that retake onto Solotov. A lot of rounds ended up like that in that 1-on-1, and it just feels like this game was way closer than what the scoreline tells us.
Well, yeah, this would have been overtime had Suzuki not won that 1 versus 1 on the Jaeger. It also would have ended even faster had we seen that earlier 1v3 attempt on Cyclops' attack on the basement. That was very, very early on. It was only round 4. And I think it was Gator almost got that ace with the 1v3 on Flores, and he was literally about 300 milliseconds off of winning that.
Yes.
So this game was
so many rounds in that game like that. That was crazy.
A real treat. And I got to say as well, it's really exciting for Cyclops because I think everyone was hoeing in on them. Did you see the really rough Reddit post that someone made?
No.
I'll show you later.
What?
Someone went in on Cyclops, and it was actually hard to read. It was like a whole paragraph just like saying like, I used to be a Cyclops fan, but
Oh no.
I hope that person is watching now, and I hope that they are giving some respect to CAG.
Yeah, I hope so as well, because that was a bit scary. Oh no, poor Cyclops going in on the Reddit. But they played really well that game. The prep clearly went into that game. And yeah, I think they came out on top. That was a brave reattempt that they did onto MNM, but it proves pretty worthy. 7-3 scoreline. It's dominant.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, just huge performances across the board. Gator definitely the one at the top of my list personally for CAG. For MNM though, we often talk about Solotov when they played Sonics. We talk about this a lot. One of the most impressive stats of the tournament so far, in my opinion, is Solotov got 10 kills before his first death in that game. He was a bit quieter here. He went negative. Usus was really the main playmaker. Tyrant also had quite a few impact kills. But of course, for CAG, it was, I mean, to be honest, I think the load was shared. The kills largely on Gator, but think about it, right? Suzu had that really impactful clutch. Anderton had the pulse play in the final 2 rounds that really brought them across the line. And it goes to show that, look, these guys, they might have been together for a really long time, but they still keep it fresh.
I think what I want to point out here is the 2 entries of CAG. So Gator and Black Ray. I think what they did in that game that tipped Cyclops over the edge was being really good at shutting down Solotov. It's really scary playing the entry on Chalet, right? Especially against a player like Solotov, who's super proficient at moving around through the map. We saw it in their first match they played against each other. He was just lethal. Like you said, 10 kills before he died, right? This time around, the entries worked out really well for CAG. It felt like Gator and Black Ray were playing a lot closer together. They were there for the pinches and the refrags, and I just think it was constantly that Solotov was in a 2-on-1 situation wherever he was, and they did a really great job of shutting him down in the early round.
Yeah, there were a lot of traded opening kills on both sides, I will say. Let's have a look at how this shapes up the group, because man, does it have implications. Right at the top of the group, Sonics are still looking mighty fine, but CAG have gotten themselves back in the game. They put themselves on the map. Look at them, their second regulation win. And on top of the fact that they have 2 overtime losses, it means they are all the way up in 2nd place. They've got a playoff spot, Mandy.
That's crazy. APAC miracle run, baby. That's insane. CAG, they still have one more game to play today. It's against the Sonics, I believe. I believe we're going to be casting that one later, aren't we?
Ooh, let me double
I
check
think
the roster.
I could be
That's pretty-
completely wrong, but I believe that we are casting
You know
that
what?
1 versus 2 match later.
You know what we are, and that
Are
is
we?
very poggers.
Yes, we are. This
That
is
is-
so exciting.
So you know what? Funnily enough, there is a chance that CAG can make it to playoffs without even getting any more points. Like, this is now on MNM and Black Dragons. What about that, right? That is
Yes.
ridiculous. 8 points for CAG, and if they can get more against Sonics today, they can guarantee their spot in the playoffs. A full 3 points, and there's no looking back. We'll be seeing CAG in the playoffs if that happens. Oh man, this is so good. I'm so keen. Final day of groups, and Jönköping is just moments away. We'll be back in just a moment for the next game, which is a huge one. Wolves versus FaZe Clan, so stick around.